You got it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, towards the end of the line. Well, Bob.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Reb Avram Yavin of Navornik?
No, but it's interesting. I'm starting to write about him. Wow, why do you think about him now?
Because my wife's grandmother, who were learning the schus of Leah Bas Meir Leigh, was his niece.
Wow. Just last night, in the middle of the night, I put into my my writing a section on Navardik.
You should talk to my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law actually was here learning abroad the year he passed away. He passed away on Erev Yom Tov Seder, and she was invited to his house for that Seder. It was all over the news, but she had been touring with her mother, with my wife's grandmother. They didn't have any idea, and they show up at the door, and he had been nifter that afternoon. And for Seder, they spent that Seder with the Mishpacha.
Okay. No, let he have an Aliyah. Everyone, let's learn together. Okay. We're learning now about how to get rid of Amalek doubts. By the way, yesterday we were talking about the issue of Amalek being chutzpah. We did not discuss the idea of Amalek being doubts, throwing doubts into you. Let's see if he talks about it now. If not, maybe I'll get into it a little later. So here it is. The Rebbe says that when it comes to klipa, to the negative husk, when it comes to the energy that is antithetical to God, we call that klipa. There are two types of gasut. In Yiddish, the word gasut means grobkeit. You can't buy that word for $1 million in English. Grobkeit. What does grobkeit mean? Coarseness. Another word in English that we use is corporeality. Corporeality. Okay. There are two types, he says. One is... Yeah?
Is that the word gasut? Gasut. In Hebrew, like we call it tefillin bottom gasut. It means thick.
That's right.
Gas, thick in Hebrew. Is this the same word?
The same word. The word gas or gasut means thick. Now, how you apply it, there is a behemoth daka. There is an animal whose hide is thin, and there is an animal, a behemoth gasa, whose hide is thick. Depending on where you get the parchment from, either this type of animal, that type of animal, both being kosher, of course, as the sofer here can tell us, but that's the difference between dakus, tefillin that are called dakut, or tefillin that are called gasus. But the word gasus means thick, heavy, or in Yiddish, grub. Okay, grub. So the Rebbe says there are two types of grubkeit, two types of thickness. And ho'alif gasu shal pi adam. This is a type of thickness, a type of grubkeit that makes sense. K'moi b'chocham shemizgohe b'chochmosei. Someone who really is a wise person, a studied person, has lots of knowledge. But guess what? He brags with his knowledge. He boasts. So he does have knowledge. He went to Harvard, to Yale, to Punovich. He has a lot of knowledge, but he shows off everywhere and anywhere. Dezeu rak b'chochma de klipa. This tuvia is what we call chachma of klipa. It's the wisdom of klipa, because he has wisdom after all. He has wisdom. But it's a wisdom that is klipa, that's negative. Why are you showing off? Who are you to show off? In holiness, when it comes to kedusha, the more logic and understanding you have, good morning Moshe, it causes you what? To be more humble. Knowledge, like the expression, a little knowledge is dangerous. We're talking about someone who's a balgaiva. The more knowledge, the more he's a yesh. He feels I'm something, I'm important. So that's one example that he gives of how someone uses logic, uses intelligence, and abuses it by boasting. Number two, the second example. Oy ha'oshir. Someone is wealthy. God has blessed him with wealth. Shemizgoeh be'oshroi. He's ostentatious. He boasts with his wealth. He shows off his wealth. U'kamashikosov, as it says in the verse, v'oshir yana azus. And the wealthy one will respond with azus, with chutzpah, with being ostentatious or outrageous. Shezeu mibnei rechav levavoi. And why does he do that? Because he has a broad heart, in the sense of, hey, I'm the wealthy guy. I have so much money. God has made me rich. Shehitzliach ba'asokov. He was successful in his business affairs. And therefore, he says, if it's good enough for God to make me wealthy, why can I not flaunt my wealth and show off? Says the Rebbe, the be'emes ein tzorach liyiskei. In truth, this attitude of the smart fellow and the wealthy fellow should not be the way we just described. Why not? The hasiba mashem izgoa be'oshroi u'bnei shechoyshev the koyach ve'etzim yodi also loy kol ha'chayil hazeh. The person who does this thinks that the reason why I was blessed with wealth is because I myself made my wealth. I studied the market, and I studied the investment, and I went to school, and I understand when the market's going up, when it's going down, and how to make the investment. In other words, koach ve'otzem yodi. Yodi, it's an expression. It's my own koach. It's my own talent. And therefore, who's made esachayil hazeh, who's made this mighty warrior, this mighty strong person. Oi shechoyshev shemagir lo yashidus. Or the wealthy person says, you know who I am? I'm the son or the grandson of so-and-so. My great-grandfather gave his life for God, and therefore God has blessed me, returned to me the favor with so much wealth. So I deserve it. Or, you know what I'm saying? He goes back to his yichus, his pedigree, and he boasts with his pedigree, and he says, what do you expect? Someone else, some Tom, Dick, and Harry should be blessed with wealth? I get the wealth, because I come from the special lineage. Says that if you would know and recognize the truth, the rak, quote, it is he, referring to God, that gives a person koyach to do mighty warrior type of activity and being a soldier. It has nothing to do with your koyach. Right? Yeah. Hashem has blessed you. Why do some people have better memories than others? Some people have to understand better? Because Hashem decided, for whatever reason, to choose you. So is it because of you? No, it has nothing to do with you. It has to do with God choosing you. So if this was the case, if you would have this attitude, he would not brag at all. Hare, hagasut. Therefore, what do we understand? That the grubkeit, the coarseness, ha'elu, heim al pitam al kolponim. What we understand for this entire discussion, Boaz, is that the reason for this person's feeling that he deserves the wealth and the intelligence and everything else is because it's logical. In other words, Yehuda, it's not like, it's this, person who was in shabs and broken and destroyed and has no yichos, has no this, and then all of a sudden he says, oh, God has blessed me. Overnight I became a millionaire. No, here there is a logical, rational equation to his feeling. So what do we call this? Klipa, right? Because boasting, bragging, and being ostentatious is klipa, is negative, but it's al pi tam v'das. It makes sense. I can understand how this person with the pedigree and the yichus and having studied so many years in school can conclude, it makes sense that he created it. I can understand it. Good morning, Tzemach. Because he is indeed a chacham. You are talking to a wise person. You're not talking, some people are fakers. They're such con artists. And if you put the pin into the bubble, into the balloon, it busts and it's full of air. You're not talking about such a guy. You're talking about someone who is a chacham. He truly is wise. Or he truly has the money in the bank. He's not just lip service. Open up the bank account and you'll see the millions. Usher, he's a very, very wealthy person. Ubal koyach, and he truly is a man of koyach. But however, the problem is, he is a thick spirit. His spirit is thick. His grub is coarse. And he brags. So that's one type of negative experience. Here goes the second one, that this is pure, outrageous chutzpah and gaiva that makes no sense. There is a type of chutzpah that transcends logic completely. Someone who has no knowledge of intelligence, he is a pauper of the lowest kind amongst people. The previous Rebbe, when he wanted to describe someone, he can really give you the adjectives. Look what he says here. Yediyah b'sichlim, number one. Number two, v'oni shvalo anoshim. He's this poor guy, lowest of humanity, of people, of men. And number two, ubezui erech shebepachusim, and he is so shameful, bozui, disgraced. He's amongst the lowest of the low. So you're talking about really someone who is really low. And really, this fellow that we're describing now, he knows his lowliness. He knows his disgracefulness. And nevertheless, he rises and stands up against the greatest person that he encounters, as we see. We see the nature of chutzpah. If you asked him about himself, he would tell you, I'm a lowlife. Nevertheless, he has the audacity, the chutzpah, to oppose someone who's gadol, great, vernichbad, biyoser, and very respectful. This is because it's so deep within him that who is this individual? He by nature is a chutzpah. The first guy we described, Moshe, is not that way. The first guy is a regular good guy. However, his mind is warped, and his heart's warped. So he comes up with calculations and argumentations why he deserves everything, and he flaunts it. The second guy knows really by himself, I'm a nothing. I'm such a disgrace. But nevertheless, he'll come into shul, and he'll make himself like a big macher, and he klops and argues with real intelligent and fine people, because this person has gas be'etzem. So we have two terms. We have a gas that's not a gas be'etzem, and then we have number two, a gas be'etzem, that grubkeit, that thickness, that coarseness and corporeality is really coming from his essence. Says the Rebbe, this second description of chutzpah is really, Tzemach, what we saw with Amalek. Why? They saw godliness revealed when we Jews left Egypt. Number two, right? Remember what I told you yesterday. Leaving Egypt, Rashi says, Melech kosher, mokum kosher, the hardest of places to get out of, and the hardest type of a king, the most difficult type of terror, king. And yet, we succeeded in B'shalach Parei Yis'am. He sends us out, we leave Egypt. Number 2, we read last week in the Parsha, Kriyas Yamsuf, the splitting of the Red Sea. You see open miracles in front of your eyes. All Goyim around, all the non-Jews were hispalu. They were impacted. V'nofal pachad Hashem aleim, and the fear of God fell upon them. And they said, "We better not start up with these Jews. Their God is really likes them and is helping them. If they were able to get out of here, as it says, and we say this every day, and I want you to think about it tomorrow when you daven." Shomu amum yirgozun, the nations, the amim, in Oz Yashir we say this, heard yirgozun, the fear. They realized we better not start up with these guys. Comes of Amalek Yotziluchum Yisrael, comes along another enemy called Amalek, and he battles with the Jews. You just saw open miracles. You saw that God loves these people. There's no rational reason he would have taken them out. As it says also in the Medrash, we speak about it at the Pesach time, we were immersed in 49 gates of tumah, of impurity. Why would you take them out and make miracles for them? Because they're my love. I love them. I love them to death. They're my love. I want them. And he performs the miracles. So comes along a people and says, I don't care. I still will stand up to them. And we call that nation Amalek. This is a type of chutzpah that's called a kingship, a malchus, royalty, regality, beloy taga, that doesn't have a crown, meaning l'mayla mitam v'das. Right? There is the mind, Moshe, which is the seichel, right? Then there's the crown, the keter, right? You learned a little Chasidus. There's the keser, the crown, right? So there is the crown. What makes the king? The intelligence? No. Not every good lawyer coming from Harvard or Yale becomes Alan Dershowitz. I'm sorry. Right? I had an excellent lawyer who helped me win my Chabad House case in 1990, 89, 90 in Marin County. Good Jewish boy, was born in Crown Heights. Sandy Rosen, he was the lead lawyer in the 1974 Kent State, Ohio shooting case. Great guy. He was a classmate of Alan Dershowitz at Yale. Good. But he's not, buddy-buddy with President Trump and whatever. Good or bad. Believe me, Alan Dershowitz is not from my favorites because he wrote a book that basically supports patrilineal descent, which we're not going to go into now. It's a whole other discussion. But at the same time, not everyone that is intelligent becomes a crown. Only select few. So that's what we're saying here. This type of chutzpah is a chutzpah that's the negative crown. It's such a position of chutzpah that puts you it's not coming from intelligence, the first type that we discussed earlier, but it's the crown. It's but in the negative sense. It's not the crown in a good sense. It's chutzpah below toga. L'mayla mitam v'das. Next page. Ve'eina yellow, next page, turn to page 157. L'nagad elikus, the only purpose of it is one thing, to oppose God. U'mekara kolin yeliki. And what does it do, Boaz? Listen to this, show him. It cools off. U'mekarer, it's like a refrigerator. Kol inyan eliki. Here you are, you're in Eretz Yisrael. You come back from the Rebbe, you come back from the Kotel, you come back from the Rashbi. You're excited, and someone says to you in shul, what are you getting excited? Every person goes every Monday and Thursday to the Kaisel. What are you hakim yet shining? What you're such a holy guy that you have. Who are you faking? Makarer, apathy, cools off the godly feeling that you have towards the experience ahead. Look in Yiddish. Yoni, in Yiddish. Kielt up as man soll nicht nespol werden verrucht ist. The aleph is missing a pay. Kielt up. Kielt means a cold. In Yiddish you say, Moshe, is verkielt. He has a cold. Kielt. Cold. You can hear the word. Cold, C-O-L-D. Kielt. Kuf Yud Lamed Tes. Kielt. Is verkielt. He is cooled off. He has a cold. What is the cold? The cold is that whatever excitement there is and passion, I say, what are you getting so excited for? Take it easy. What are you jumping all over the place that you're getting so excited and carry away? You know? Many people say, oh, you have the BT syndrome, the Baal Tshuva syndrome. You've been from already 20, 30, you've been from 25, 30 years. It's enough time. You're not a BT anymore. You're an FFB by now. FFBs, we don't get excited. We don't get excited. We take everything level-headed. The BTs, it's a new experience. And excited. That's kaltkeit. That's cooling off a person who is excited about Hashem. Of Ruchnius. The Zel Klippas Amalek, says the Rebbe, that's the Klippa of Amalek. If you want to know what Amalek is today, in Tufshin Pei, in 2020, in Borough Park, in Florida, in Bet Shemesh, and anywhere and everywhere, it's the attitude of Klippas Amalek is to cool off someone's passion or your own passion. Dichsiv Bey, because by Amalek it says, Asher korcha baderech. What did Amalek do? It says, he suddenly attacked us unannounced, right? We were going out of Mitzrayim on the way to Eretz Yisrael, right? All of a sudden, it was an ambush. Asher korcha baderech. But the word karcha is used, which is a very interesting word to use when you want to talk about this type of an attack. Comes along the Chasidus and other Sfarim and says that the word karcha also means from the word kar, cold. What was the manner in which Amalek attacked you in a sudden way by cooling you off, trying to cool you off? Shemekarer b'derech. One second, let me finish the thought. Shemekarer b'haderech the Torah mitzvahs. Very important, guys, because this is worth $1 million. He cooled off the derech. Someone says, my derech is, I'm Svard, I'm Moroccan, and I love to chant and shul slowly the words together. That's my derech. Comes along an Ashkenazi and says, what, are you out of your mind? You gotta go to work, daven fast. There's a chassid who davens for a few hours and sits with his talis Shabbos, and he laughs and he cries and he pours his heart out. Comes along someone else and says, your wife is waiting for you. The derech, your derech. You decide to choose a derech that you like, that you want to grow your beard. You want to grow a full beard. And people say, what do you need a full beard? It's not stylish. You don't look great. That's the derech you chose. The idea where someone can cool off your derech, or if you yourself decide to cool off your derech, that's Amalek. No one is allowed to cool off someone's derech. Hashem gave every Jew the right to choose their derech. So when we talk about off the derech, that's a big buzzword, right? O-T-D. That's today's buzzword, one of the buzzwords in the Jewish community. What does it mean? Off the derech means that you cool off the derech. You're cooling off the derech. So the issue now is, Yehuda, what is the antidote? What is the solution for this very, very vicious problem? What is the issue if your own spouse cools off your derech? And believe me, it happens. As much as your spouse loves you and likes you and all that, but sometimes, like, what the heck do you need to do this for? Right? We gotta talk meat and potatoes. Otherwise, you haven't learned me in the morning. So, if your own spouse is belittling the derech that you've chosen, Says the Rebbe in the Maamar here. Look what he says. Don't take my words for it. Just follow his words. He says here, Vahabitul the klippas Amalek, the way to annul, to destroy, to remove this klippa, this bad attitude, who al yedei kiyum mitzvahs maisius, by doing the actual mitzvah, behidur, in a most beautiful way, uvehergish chayish pnimi, with an inner feeling, in Yiddish, tona mitzvah varm, do a mitzvah yoni varm, warmly, umitalebedekait, and with a liveliness, ukamay mitzvah tefillin. Let's see what he says. Lahader b'ksiva parshis. We have a sofer, Moshe, right here. For example, the mitzvah of tefillin. Don't just buy yourself a pair of tefillin. Buy yourself a beautiful pair of tefillin. That the portions were written by such a beautiful sofer like Moshe. Yes, it's going to cost you more. And if you want the Alter Rebbe Ksav, the Alter Rebbe's writing, it's going to cost you even more. It's true. But right. Right, but whatever. Yeah, the point is, if you can afford it, if Hashem is, you can afford it, or you try to make it happen, you go and buy yourself the extra mitzvah. Ayidei Sefer. Now look over here, Mumche v'Yirei Shemayim. You know, you got to have an expert Sefer, and that's not enough. There are many people that can write calligraphy very nice, but he has to be Yirei Shemayim. He shouldn't be listening to rock and roll when he's writing the Torah or the Tefillin or the Mezuzah. You know, he shouldn't be half undressed when he's writing because it's hot outside, so he's writing with his shorts. It doesn't work that way. You're paying for a sofer who is writing with Yirei Shemayim, and you want to make sure that it's Yirei Shemayim. If I told you when my father took me as a little boy to a sofer in Crown Heights, I still have the memory. I must have been 7, 8 years old. In a little dingy dark, we went upstairs and into a room. It looked like I went into a place of 1,000 years ago, and the sofa had a little light over, and he was writing. He was a Jew from Russia. Again, it seemed to me, this is a Yirei Shemayim. He's concentrating. I'm not saying you have to write in darkness. You shouldn't. You have to see the words. One should have a nice light and a bright place. It enhances your writing. But I'm saying the idea is the Yirei Shemayim. V'chein b'tikkun. Look what he says. B'tikkun b'atiyat film. Right? In a few months, it's going to be Elul. You're going to want to check your tefillin. You want to correct the batim. V'anachosam barosh. And you want to put them on your head, v'azrei on your arm. Yir b'diuk. They have to be exact. Not that your head tefillin is to the left or the right, and it looks like you have a scope, a doctor's scope on your head. So the doctor turns it to the left or the right, depending on what he has to see. Here it says Bein Einecha. It has to be right in the middle. And on your hands, it's the blood pressure. The blood pressure got to be exactly on the muscle, facing the heart. Right? So in other words, these ideas, it's so easy to poo-poo this. What's the difference? I put on film this morning. It has to be exactly. I have to take a little mirror or ask my friend, is it in between? Right? So sometimes we say, what, are you so holy that you have to make yourself, it's like you're pretending, you're trying to show off. No, you have a right. If that's your derech, and you want to do the mitzvah, the Rebbe says here, so what is he getting at? That the beautifying of the mitzvah is the way to crush Amalek. Because what's Amalek trying to do? To poo-poo the details. To poo-poo the derech. That's the particular issue we're identifying now as the Amalek. He says, put on tefillin. Learn. But why must you do it in a certain way? Let's continue another example. V'chein b'mitzvah tzitzis over mitzvah Shabbos. Same is true regarding the mitzvah of tzitzis and the mitzvah of Shabbos. B'zehirus yisera, to be very careful over his sofa and to increase mechoil ala kodesh. Don't wait to last minute to begin Shabbos. You have to increase lahosif. Come to shul a little earlier. Begin earlier. Be mosif. Don't have that, Johnny come lately. I wait till the last minute to leave my house. And as soon as Shabbos is over, I got to get out there because I got to smoke my cigarette or check my WhatsApp and my messages. Jerk! It's Shabbos. You should be savoring in the Shabbos. Keep on sitting and enjoying Shabbos. Let that damn phone go somewhere. Just continue with Shabbos. No. As soon as exactly, what time is Ma'ariv? Exactly that minute, I got to get out. Hay suffer. Add time from the weekday, Mechoil al HaKodesh. Uvachon Shabbos. Prepare yourself for Shabbos. What did you do this Friday? Everyone has to ask themselves, what did I do to... Every week I help my wife in the kitchen. What else am I going to do this Friday to prepare myself? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send out a message or call someone and say, how are you? Have a great Shabbos. Or someone else is going to buy an extra challah and give it to someone else. Hachana b'Shabbos. Shabbos kodesh. All of this will create that your Shabbos will not be just another weekday. The Yispalel b'Mesinus. How will that be the case? You'll pray. You'll daven patiently, calmly. You won't rush your davening so you can eat the chon, stuff yourself, and they lay on the couch like you're half dead. You won't do that. You'll daven patiently, quietly, b'Mesinut. Let everyone fresh and run to the Kiddush, and you're still saying Tillim or davening. V'yosef lilmoid, and you'll increase your time. People say, oh, what's Shabbos about? Shabbos is about more time to sleep, more time to gossip. Idiot. Shabbos is about increasing your connection to God, to learn more. You know, there were Jews that didn't sleep Shabbos. They were called Shomer Shabbos. What does Shomer Shabbos mean? They guarded, they watched the Shabbos. You know, the halacha is in the Rambam Tuvya that there was a guard on a tower outside of the Beis Hamikdash to guard the holy temple, right? So that no one comes in that's not supposed to, no enemy, right? We call that a shomer, a guard. Was that guard awake? Absolutely. If he fell asleep, he replaced him. Shomer Shabbos. There were Jews, and still are, who don't sleep Shabbos 24 hours. I mean, of course, if they fall asleep at wherever they are, but they don't go into a bed. They guard the Shabbos. They're protecting the Shabbos. Shomer Shabbos. I mean, again, we're not there because we usually, if we don't sleep, we're a mess the next day. But think about it. Just think about the idea. That's what a real Shomer Shabbos is. So the person who comes to shul and everyone's rushing to the Kiddush and it's a bar mitzvah and it's a bris, it's my best. The bar mitzvah will be there, the bris will be there, your best friend's yard site will be there. Trust me. And if you come towards the end of the Kiddush, he'll be just as happy if he knows that you learned and davened extra for his father's neshama. So what do we have from all this? What we have from all this is the way to eliminate the Amalek. Now, let me it's very interesting. He presents a very difficult type of an Amalek, right? Someone and something that poo-poos the derech without logic, chutzpah, the ultimate chutzpah. And what does he say is the antidote? The antidote is to be mahader in mitzvahs. That's what he says in this Maamar. Not just to do a mitzvah. You don't need a Maamar to tell you to do a mitzvah. The antidote here is to be mahader b'mitzvahs, to beautify a mitzvah. So my question to you is, how is that a way of destroying the outrageous Amalek that we presented earlier in the Maamar? And the answer is that when someone opposes you in a way that's not logical, just because you're Jewish, and just because you're frum, and just because you chose a derech, there's no logical explanation to that person. The only thing you could do and should do is increase your derech, increase your beauty. In other words, show the Amalek that opposes you, that wants you to stop your derech, that you're going to continue and do more and more of your derech and beautifying the mitzvah. So I don't need to have the nicest pair of tefillin. I don't need to, halachically, I'm allowed to start Shabbos after the 18 minutes and end it right after when it's Tzeitzach Chavim, 3 stars. But I'm going to beautify the beginning and the end of Shabbos, that beautify my tefillin and my mezuzah and my tzedakah and everything else, because it's not logical. I'm going beyond logic, and that's what we need here. In other words, the antidote for someone who's attacking you beyond logic, which makes no sense, is to reciprocate without logic. Right? In other words, the argument that your spouse says to you, why do you have to be so fanatical if she considers you a fanatic? Or why do you have to do this? Why can't you just be chilled? The answer is, you're right. Logically, I could be chilled, but I'm so excited about God and this derech that I love it. That is the response to Amalek. So we have here, and tomorrow we'll finish the Maamar. What we have here is a very important piece of advice for daily common issues that we experience ourselves, our families, and our friends. Now, someone had a question. Was it Yoni or someone else, or a comment? Now's your time.
No, not Shaykh.
Not Shaykh. Not Shaykh what?
We answered it without me asking.
What do you guys say about this idea?
Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Have a great day. What? It's real. This piece is really review it. It's very important. Very, very important. Because this is so common, especially in the Frum community, in the right-wing Frum community, where everyone poo-poos the other one's derech and all that. Here you have this Rebbe, this tzaddik, looking at it in a real down-to-earth way. This is down-to-earth. This isn't Kabbalah here. You're really down-to-earth, and he's analyzing what should be done for this type of an issue. And it's very important to think about it and to find issues in our life that we could intensify. That's what he's talking about here. He's talking about not chilling out, but intensifying. And again, not to hurt other people. You know, you're going to intensify and be in shul all day, and your kids need you to do your homework. You're, a jerk. Get home and help your kids with the homework. But we're talking about when they don't need you because they're now reading a book or they're watching a video, whatever the case, right? Right? Now it's your time to intensify. So, Yoni, you have your whole shul over there, the Karlbach shul. Share with them this message. This is such an important message to share with the issue now we have with Eretz Yisrael. It's a time now to intensify our love of Torah mitzvahs and the derech. But everyone should respect the other person's derech, unless the derech is, fakers who, in the name of Torah, are abusing people and things like that are going on, or stealing from the government, or cheating, and that's not Torah. That's Amalek. That is charlatans. We're not talking about that. And unfortunately, we know there is that. We're talking about, and again, begin with yourself. The first thing is begin with yourself. Before you worry about your spouse, you didn't marry your spouse. You know that, right? You guys know you didn't marry your spouse to be their rabbi. If you did, you better check it out again or talk to me. You're not your spouse's rabbi, and she ain't your rabbi. Does that mean to say you shouldn't discuss things and you shouldn't, discussion is great. And arousing each other to do more, and constructive criticism is, as we learned in the Maamar earlier this year, is so important. But it has to be from the right person. At the end of the day, it's you, it's I, it's us ourselves, right? So when we talk about the derech, and we talk about the antithesis to Amalek, we have to make that choice. Have a good day, everyone. Sei gesund. We love you all. Shalom u'bracha. Yes.
It takes a special self-confidence. If someone comes at you, we've all had it. Oh, you're holy roller, big son. You're so religious. You have to have some self-confidence and esteem.
Well, you are. You are a holy roller, and just disregard them and do what you have to. And you know what you should do? Jump on them and give them a big kiss and an embrace. The guy will be just do that. That's it. Believe me, he'll never ever say a bad word against you. Take care. Sei gesund.
Right.